The 5 hours of agony. What happened next stretched over what felt like 5 endless hours. I will never forget each moment of that terrible day. Hour 1. After the fight broke out, Kwame was dragged away by some of his own men. I heard him scream, "I love her, please." But his voice was silenced as they pushed him back. Zuri was left lying on the ground. Her body trembled, and her eyes were full of both pain and sorrow. Her family tried to comfort her, but I saw fear in their eyes. They knew this was not just a fight, it was a message. Hour 2. The crowd began to disperse, but the hurt did not fade. A few elders came and started talking in low, angry voices. I later learned that they had been told by someone in Kwame's family that Zuri's behavior would bring shame to them all. I sat on the side of a small path, feeling my heart break as I watched Zuri being carried inside her home. The sound of her soft, mournful cries echoed in my ears. Hour 3. By mid-afternoon, the village was filled with whispers. I heard people say that the love between Zuri and Kwame was a mistake, a crime against our traditions. Some even said that Zuri was cursed for daring to love someone she could never have. I tried to comfort a young child who came by asking, "Why did this happen?" I could only shake my head, for I had no answers to give. Hour 4. Later in the day, I found myself near the river where Zuri and Kwame had once met. The sun was setting, and the cool water did little to calm the fire of my grief. I sat under the baobab tree and remembered the laughter and gentle talks I had witnessed there. It was a stark contrast to the pain of the afternoon. I kept replaying the moment in my mind, the moment when Zuri's eyes pleaded for help, and Kwame's voice broke with love and despair. Hour 5. As night fell, the village became quiet and somber. I could see small fires burning in the distance, and the night air was heavy with regret. I learned that Kwame had been taken to his family compound, and that Zuri was kept inside her home under close watch. There was talk that the elders had decided that she must never see him again, that their love had to be broken. I sat by the window of my small hut, unable to sleep, and wondered if love could ever survive in such a harsh world. Aftermath and heartbreak. In the days that followed, the village slowly returned to its daily routine, but nothing was the same. The bright hope that Zuri and Kwame had shown in their secret meetings was gone, replaced by a heavy silence and painful memories. Zuri became quiet. She no longer walked by the river at sunset, and her smile, once so full of life, was now a rare sight. Her eyes held a deep sadness that no one could shake. I saw her often sitting on the edge of her compound, staring at nothing, as if she was waiting for a miracle that would never come. Kwame, too, was never the same. He was kept inside his family compound for days, forced to listen to angry speeches from his elders. I heard him whisper to himself at night, "I wish I could change things. I wish I could save her." But every time he tried to visit, he was blocked by the men sent by his family. His love for Zuri became a painful secret he carried alone. I tried to help in small ways. I brought food to Zuri's family when I could, and whispered words of comfort to those who would listen. I even spoke to one of the elders, asking, "Can you not show mercy? She is only a girl who loved with all her heart." But my words were met with cold stares and the sound of a heavy door closing behind me. The divide between the rich ways of the elite and our simple village life was too wide. In the weeks that followed, many tried to mend the broken pieces of that love story. Some said that Kwame was forced to choose his family's honor over his heart. Others whispered that Zuri would one day leave the village in search of a new beginning, far from the chains of her past. I still wonder if love ever stood a chance against the hard truths of our world. One night, I saw Zuri quietly packing a small bag. I later learned that she planned to leave in the early morning. I felt a deep sorrow in my heart, because even if she found a better life, the pain of that day would always be with her. I whispered to myself, maybe true love is not meant to survive in a place where pride and power rule over the heart. The lessons I learned. I have thought about that long, painful day many times since. It taught me that love can be very strong, but sometimes the world around us is too harsh. Zuri and Kwame's story was not a fairy tale. It was real and full of struggle. They met in a world that did not understand the soft hopes of a poor village girl and the bright dreams of a rich, educated young man. Their love was simple and pure, but it was crushed by forces that were bigger than both of them. I have learned that in our village, as in many places, the rules of life are not written by the heart. They are written by the strong and the powerful. I still carry the memory of the day with me. I remember the blood on the road, the tears in Zuri's eyes, and the broken heart of a young man who was forced to choose duty over love. I hope that one day, people will look back on this story and understand that love, no matter how pure, must sometimes fight against forces that we cannot change. I tell this story now in the hope that others will see that every life is worth fighting for, and that love should never be taken lightly or crushed by pride and power. Epilogue. Months have passed since that day, yet the memory remains strong. I sometimes see Zuri in the market, her face hidden behind a shawl, and I wonder if she has found peace. Kwame has become quiet and withdrawn. He walks the village paths with a heavy heart, always looking at the ground as if he is mourning something he cannot speak of. The elders still talk about that day, each in their own way. Some say it was a lesson, others say it was a warning. I only hope that in the future, when young hearts dare to love, they may find a way to do so without paying such a high price. This is my story, a story of love and pain, of hope and heartbreak. I share it not to preach, but to remind everyone who listens that even in the simplest lives, great love can grow, and even in the darkest times, a small spark of hope remains. I will always remember Zuri and Kwame, and I will carry their memory with me as a lesson of how fragile, yet how beautiful, love can be. Thank you for reading my story. I know it is long and hard to read, but I felt it was important to share what I witnessed. I hope that one day, our village and the world beyond will learn to let love be free from the chains of fear and pride.